Hi, welcome to a new episode of Just the Tips. I'm Joanna Angel.
I'm Aaron, or Small Hands.
Whatever you want to be called. And this is episode number 17?
16.
16! It's a sweet 16. Right?
Yeah, it's a sweet 16. Did you have a sweet 16?
No, I didn't have a sweet 16. That's not like something that Jews have. I had a bat mitzvah. Yeah, I always thought sweet 16s were so cool.
Bat mitzvah is when you're what, 15, or is it not?
No, it's when you're 12.
Oh, I don't
12
know.
or 13.
Okay.
Some people do it at 12, some people do it at 13.
Yeah. I did not have a bat mitzvah or a sweet 16. I just sort of turned 16.
I had a bat mitzvah.
How was it?
It was great, actually.
Yeah. Did you have the male dancers?
I did, yeah.
Don't you get to have hot shirtless dudes
anyway,
dancing
let me
around
just
you?
go back and explain. And pretty funny because we just watched that Adam Sandler bat mitzvah movie, whatever it was called.
Oh, like you are not invited to my bat mitzvah.
Yeah. And it was brought back a lot of funny memories. You fell asleep during the movie because I don't really think it brought back many memories for you.
Yeah, no, I didn't have my adolescence was not like that.
Yeah. Well, kind of funny. I mean, without, I don't know who wants to hear about details of bat mitzvahs, but this came full circle actually not that long ago. So there's a point to my story.
Okay.
When I was, there was this DJ group that all the cool kids used for their bat mitzvahs. If you went to a nice bat mitzvah, they were there, and it was a DJ and an MC and some dancers and stuff like that. I know this makes no sense to you, but if you watch the bat mitzvah movie,
it's like Prestige Worldwide and Step Brothers, like 360 Entertainment.
Yes,
baby.
Totally.
Got
That's
it.
exactly
Got
what
it.
it is.
Got it.
And so I remember, I told my mom I would run away from home if we didn't use this particular DJ company. I wouldn't recommend, I used blackmail, I guess. And she fell for it, apparently. I look back on it, I feel really bad because they were probably expensive, and that wasn't right. No, don't do that. Nobody's listening to this show who's bat mitzvah age. So anyway, let's fast forward.
Okay.
The company,
sort of following.
I wonder if there's still a company. The company was called Heart to Heart. And I just remember as a young kid. So you go to the Heart to Heart office or headquarters or whatever it is, and they sit you down. I mean, it's so crazy to think about this now and how kind of fucked up it was.
Well, this was back in the 90s. Now they just have an app.
Because I was 13 a very, very long time ago. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure it's very different now if it even is a company. But I remember, I went there, and they have the basic package, which they make it sound like is nothing. I mean, it's kind of like when you go buy a car and they're like, do you want the basic car that doesn't even work, or do you want all the fixins, and that's the sticker price is, you know what I mean? Why did I compare it to a car? I was trying to think of something you buy with a base price, and then you start adding
the car,
things.
the analogy is
it was right.
just fine.
Yeah. You go buy a car. The sticker price gives you a car that barely drives, and then
you're at this fancy DJ
So I'm at the fancy DJ, just whatever it is, and they're like, yeah, do you want the basic package, which gives you, a miserable bat mitzvah and a miserable childhood in general. That's what I heard. That's what I remember.
Package?
And a miserable childhood, and you're not going to have any friends anymore, and everything's going to be awful. You're going to be the biggest loser in school if you pick this package, or do you want the master deluxe package that comes with an MC, and you get this sign with your name on it, and you get this big entrance, and you get dancers. Dancers, like you actually get like your own like group of dancers to like hype up the crowd and get them
It's
going.
like when you order bottle service at the club.
Exactly.
And they come out with the sparklers and they're looking good and they're cheering you on and maybe they got
maybe they have a sign. Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And the more money you spend, the more, I guess, sparklers come out or whatever.
So you wanted that 13-year-old VIP bottle service treatment.
That's exactly what I wanted. And I was like, yes. So I remember the Grandmaster Deluxe package came with 5 dancers. Okay. And they showed me this like old school photo book catalog of of men like with, wearing vests and no shirt underneath, being like, who do you want at your bat mitzvah?
And you're 13.
And I'm 13. You wonder why I turned out the way I did. And I'm just looking through this catalog of like buff men. And there were women in there too,
Were the women buff?
They were not buff. They were, they were cool. Right.
Okay.
They were cool, and I don't know. So I remember I did
you get to pick your
I did,
your
and
dancers.
I actually remember to this day I picked 4. I picked 4 black men and 1 woman. That says a lot about, not much has changed. If I had to pick in a lineup today, that's who I picked. Anyway, let's fast forward to these days. When I am who I am. Not that long ago, I was working with a guy, a handsome black man that, we were working together, and he was talking about
filming together.
Gotcha, yes. In my in my early 40s, not that long ago. We were on set, and he was talking about how he grew up in New York, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from the part of New York that's called New Jersey," and then, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to like work as a dancer," and I was like, "Oh, what kind of dance?" I don't know. Anyway, he told me he used to dance at people's bat mitzvahs.
Oh, he had like a picture in the photo book, and you could
he was younger than me, so we weren't at the same time, and you know what I mean. But yeah, he said that he used to dance at a lot of rich New Jersey bat mitzvahs.
All right.
And I was like, oh my God, who did you work for? And he said a company called Heart to Heart. And I was like, holy shit. So many like walls are being broken down right now. And I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, yeah. And I asked him, I was like, tell me, did you ever like have sex with any of like thinking about it now, because he was in his like, I don't know. I think,
did you ever have sex with what?
With anyone's like mom or like someone at the bat mitzvah.
I wanted to make sure.
Not of 13. Yes.
Come on, Joanna.
Yes. I just thinking about it now, because he was, I think, in his mid-20s when he worked for Heart to Heart, and I was just like, and he was like so many times.
Hell yeah. Sounds like a good gig. You go in, you dance around, do some cartwheels, take your shirt off, and then you get to like fuck hot
like
rich mom.
You're at a bat mitzvah, which is, like the person that comes alone with no date, or maybe with a date. I mean, who knows? But yeah, he said he once did this like bat mitzvah for like a girl, and the mom was like recently divorced, and she was like, oh, I want
definitely
to talk
the
to you.
Grandmaster Deluxe package,
right? And I guess the mom would like after the bat mitzvah was like, oh, I wanted to talk to you about like doing my other daughter's bat mitzvah next year or something. She's like, you did a really good job. And he's like, yeah, you can contact the and I was like, that is like the Jewish like porno that would have to get made, and no one would really understand it but me. But like knowing that like went on is really, really just like shook up my world.
What a wild way to be 13. I did not have any of those experiences when I was 13 and I had a birthday. I think because my father was a preacher, I was probably just in fucking church, or like maybe like
because you didn't. You were a dude. You wouldn't have had a Sweet 16.
No,
you wouldn't have had a quinceañera.
When I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and and so it wasn't like my parents really couldn't afford to do even if they wanted to, some big party. But they also, because they were so religious, they never really cared too much about birth. It wasn't a big deal. It was like, oh, it's your birthday. Like, here's a, whatever, freaking Happy Meal and a Ninja Turtle toy at best.
Right.
And, good job, kid. Another year around the sun. So no, I've never had a birthday with that level of fanfare. It sounds wild.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, whatever, some memories.
Well,
I actually also remember about my bat mitzvah. I don't know how many people care about this. I remember as part, my bat mitzvah was like in the hall in like a hotel. It was a Marriott actually in New Jersey.
Wait, your party was in the...
Yeah, like every hotel. No, like a hall.
Like the ballroom.
Yeah, exactly,
gotcha.
Exactly. Yes, in the hallway.
What are you guys doing in the hallway?
And I remember, as part of like my gift, I guess, like my parents got like a hotel room in the hotel, in the Marriott, in the hotel where my bat mitzvah would be, so I could just wake up the next day and get my hair blown out or whatever, And my parents got a hotel room, and I had a hotel room. I was allowed to invite like 2 friends, the VIPs of the bat mitzvah. Anyway, my bat mitzvah was on a Sunday. Most bat mitzvahs are on Sundays, and that Saturday night, I was like, guys, let's stay up late and watch Saturday Night Live. This was really exciting. And I remember me and my 2 best friends, we watched Saturday Night Live, and it was the episode where Sinead O'Connor was on stage and ripped up the picture of the Pope. And I remember we were watching it. And then suddenly and this is me, but me and my 2 Jewish friends, she takes out a picture of the Pope, and I said, "Who is that?"
Wait, who?
I didn't know who the Pope was. We're Jews,
why
would we know who the Pope was anyway? And I said, "Who's that?" And my other friends were like, "I don't know."
Some old guy with a weird hat on.
Yeah, and then she starts ripping up the picture, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I just remember then it was boop, cut to commercial break, and I was like, "What happened?" And then as I got older, I learned what happened. Anyway, random moments. I was, guess I watched that episode. Yeah, so that's what I remember about my bat mitzvah is heart to heart. the handsome dancers picking me up in a chair. 4 men and 1 woman, and Sinead O'Connor. That's what I remember about my bat mitzvah weekend. For those of you that needed to know.
All right. Well, there we go.
Glad
we got that one
out of the way. Yeah. Now everybody knows my history. Yeah. And just so you know that there's a lot of corruption that goes on. Bat mitzvah.
Corruption? Where are you going with this?
I don't know.
What corruption?
Well, the dancers will bone your mom.
Well, it sounds like the dancers were being corrupted by the moms.
The dancers were being corrupted by the horny moms.
These poor dancers just being objectified.
Yeah. I guess they were being objectified by everybody. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of objectification, you just got back from LA, right? You filmed
I filmed for Brazzers in LA.
Filmed some porno for Brazzers.
It was just like a quick little trip. I went in on Sunday and then came back Monday.
I haven't even asked you about it really. So was there a storyline for this one, or what was the vibe on this shoot?
Oh yeah. It was kind of cool. I actually worked with Scott Nails, who got in the industry around the same time as me.
Kind of a legend.
Yeah.
Kind of a legend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Scott Nails.
And it was really fun. And it's fun when I work with people from the old days, because it feels like we went to high school together, but high school was porn.
So what was the scenario?
You know what I mean? And then it was also Tommy King, a newer girl in the industry. So it was kind of cool. It was the old guard and the new guard. And me and Scott Nails were kind of funny. I have a picture of it. We were 2 doms, I guess, looking at a house.
Yes, you were confused doms.
No,
not doms that without confidence.
Okay, we were a dominant couple. Okay, we were both dominant, and the realtor was submissive.
So this is some realtor property porno.
Yeah, she's showing us a house, and we're like a dun dun dun. I don't know. We were a dom couple or something. And then she's showing us the house, and then she gets nervous when she's showing us, you know, and we both have these like keys, you know, to show that we're dominant, you know. That's what you do when you're dominant. You should know this. You've been a dominant king a bunch of times.
But I've never worn it.
Yeah, well, okay, the real actual, I mean, this is the truth, real actual lifestyle BDSM people, like you wear a key and then your submissive wears a lock, like eternity collar. Yeah, like
you get
thingy.
Collared, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I
didn't know you had to wear the key.
That shows you're like, a lot of lifestyle people do it. You wear the key and they wear the lock all the time or whatever. Okay. Or maybe when you're just playing, but that is what like lifestyle people do. So me and him both had keys, okay?
Got you.
Okay. And it's supposed to like also show the world, like, I don't know. It's like
I got the keys,
like an
keys. I got the keys.
Oh my God. Make me second guess myself.
No,
this is a real thing. People walk around with keys all the time. So like, you know, if you're in the bodega and there's like a submissive there, you like know, like, oh, I can go like, you know.
I can go what?
Brian is showing his keys right now.
I mean, I have keys, but I didn't know it was like a sex
No, you have
thing.
to put it like on like a thing, and it's like fancy. And it's like 50 Shades of Grey. I swear this happened in there.
Okay,
but I hate that movie, so I don't exactly know what happened.
So she's showing you around the house, and you're flashing your fucking keys. Got it?
No, that's okay. It's like subtle. It's subtle. We both have keys, and then she's showing us the house, and she's like, "Oh, and here's the living room, and here's the bedroom," and then I'm like not paying attention because I'm just horny and creepy, and then as she's showing us something, she gets nervous and she drops like something on the floor, and then when she drops it on the floor, her collar shows, you know, her cuffs and her collar shows.
Oh, and now it's
and then we're
on.
like, oh,
game time now.
Look, you're a submissive little bitch, aren't you? And she's like, let me just show you the basement. This was like a fancy, you know, LA mansion type place, but the basement is a dungeon, you know. So she's like, well,
it must be fancy because most LA houses don't have basements.
Yeah,
you know,
you're right.
So
you're right, they don't.
So this must be a special,
special
piece of property.
And it was a dungeon. Oh. It actually reminded me. I watched only one episode of it, and I want to watch more of it because I liked it. Did you see that TV show on Netflix? I can't remember if you watched that episode with me. Sometimes I watch television behind your
back.
What
show?
I don't remember the name right now, but it was about the woman, the interior designer that makes people's dungeons. What's it called? Brian, what's it called? Just look up Netflix dungeon designer.
I must have not watched.
It's actually a really good show. I watched one episode. And she meets with couples and who want like dungeons in their house or like a sex room in their house or something. And she like
that's cool.
designs it. And anyway, the dungeon downstairs.
The show's called How to Build a Sex Room.
There you go.
subtle. No, I definitely.
I watched an episode and I thought it was really good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. And she does, you know, a really good job. But anyway, it felt like a room that was designed by that woman, you know, like it seemed like I was like, I feel like I saw this dungeon in an episode. Anyway, whatever, she goes and she shows us the dungeon and then we did some stuff. We used like cuffs and a spreader bar situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So it was an interesting dynamic because me and Scott were like both dominant.
Right. So
and
it's almost like
submissive.
The two
I was kind of like a guy in the scene. It was
like the two of you were double teaming her, basically.
Yeah. Which is
that's hot,
fun, and it is hot. But then sometimes it's like, you know, it's like it. Sometimes I just want to be. You know, it's more work to be a dom. You know what I mean? And you don't just get to like sit back and like get fucked. I was a little jealous. I was like, God, we just get to throw her around, and she gets to get fucked. You know, but I used that energy to channel into my domness. You know. Anyway, it was a great scene, and Tommy King, everybody should go check her out because she was a great performer, and she did an amazing job, and we had a good time.
So everybody be on the lookout for Scott Nails and Joanna Angel flashing their keys.
Yes, flash. I get Tommy the keys. Yes, and then it was we both put stuff in our butts. And it was a lot. It was really nice. It's been a while since I've gone to the airport with like jizz on my face and like lube dripping out of my ass.
It's a classic porno move.
It is, yeah. I mean, it used to happen all the time when we lived in LA and I would go shoot in Vegas. I mean, you would go do that all the time, and then like you're trying to make the last flight home, and you've got like jizz on your face, and you're like running to the gate.
A little bit in your hair.
Yeah, so I got to like experience that again. I was like, oh, it's so nice to be on a plane with jizz on my face.
That's great. That's just lovely.
Yeah, because like it was a long day, and I had to make my flight at the end of the day, and like there's straight up like lube like dripping out of my ass like onto the airplane seat. And I was like, oh, it's so good to be home or back or something,
You know how that is, Brian, when you're just catching a flight and you don't have time to wash the jizz off your
I'm not
face.
joking. There straight up was jizz in my hair. Like there really was. I was like in the airplane. I was like, oh my God, there's jizz in my hair.
I can't say that I recall a time where that happened to me, Aaron. No.
It's like the walk of shame, but it's like an airplane ride home of shame.
Yeah,
not something I do very often anymore. I haven't done that.
I'm glad you had fun in the dungeon. And okay.
So that was what I did in the last 2 days. It was really good to catch up with Scott.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like I said, it feels like a family member, and you're like, oh, it's good to get the old band back together.
Well, I'll be going to LA next month to shoot with Owen Gray.
Yeah.
Not in a dungeon, in a very well lit room. There won't be any keys or collars involved. Probably not, at least.
No. Who would wear the key and who would wear the collar if you and Owen were in a relationship?
Well, no, it would be just like you and Scott.
You'd both wear the keys.
Yeah.
You'd both wear the keys, and then a rotating stash of women would wear collars.
Yeah, we'll just have a collar like on deck, the house collar.
The house
and
collar.
Whoever enters in this house
Can wear the collar.
Gets the house collar.
All right. I guess I gotta admit, there's going to be a lot of women listening to this podcast pretty bummed that that's not what's going on right now. Well, I guess it's going on in some way, shape, or form at work. It's just...
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean...
What's going on?
I mean, you and Owen work together, and there's a rotating, bunch of women that are in between you two.
Yeah, that's the formula.
But they're not collared.
No, I mean... I
think you and Owen should get matching keys.
That would be cute.
That would be really cute. With no collar. But 2 keys and no collar.
I'm not into too much like all the accessories of like the dominant.
I understand. Yeah.
I like just being a dom with my personality, with my voice, with my actions. I don't really have a desire to like add extra things on. I don't even really like love using like too much, props. Maybe a flogger, maybe a whip is cool. Maybe like, a taser or something.
A taser?
Yeah, I used a taser once in a scene.
Right.
In a very extreme scene, and that was fun. But no, I like to just... get it going without the keys and collars.
BDSM is like
it's fun to do scenes like that because it
takes a lot of time,
and it's cool.
Too.
It looks cool on camera, but generally speaking, we don't need to do all that.
I think to really practice BDSM in your IRL life,
mm-hmm.
you need extra time and extra money. Things that not everybody. Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of things involved. I mean, my friends who are really in the lifestyle, mm-hmm. I'm like, where do you find the time? Like, if you're horny, like there's like so much setup you have to do before you can get into it. But I think that's part of what like turns them on is like getting all the like bits and pieces together, But
it's not really like a BDSM specific thing, but I got asked to DJ at like a private like sex party.
You are going to DJ at a private sex party.
And I have no idea how like what the hell that means or what's going to go on. But
what music are you going to play?
See, that's the thing.
To get people in the mood.
I asked the person who booked me, and I said, okay, so this is like a lifestyle party. People are going to be playing, having sex. Like what?
So are you DJing? Because I know they have other parties.
I think I'm going to be spinning music while people are fucking.
So exciting.
Because they told me play music to fuck to.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, okay, this is going to be
This is like,
so
this is going to be
I'll
such
have to circle back and let you all know how this event went.
You
But
should
yeah,
actually,
it's coming up.
you should, the mix you use for that party, you should put on like,
What party?
for the sex party.
Oh, yeah.
The mix that you make, you should put on SoundCloud or something. It's like a sex
party mix?
as a sex party mix, certified seal of approval.
Right.
That was actually used as a sex party made by a award-winning porn star.
Ooh.
I mean, that's a thing. Like it could be legendary. Like no one should ever have sex without that.
I'm gonna have to get to work on it.
Now, not to be
Brian,
too much pressure.
What would be a song that you like to fuck to?
Wow. I was going to try to say something funny, but it's very early in the morning.
Anything can be music to fuck to if it gets you going. I remember, so like my first musical sex memory combined is when I was in my early 20s, I dated this really hot, evil goth girl. Mm-hmm. And she always wanted to put on Danzig when we fucked.
Danzig is very sexy.
And that
music.
to me is like fucking music.
Yeah.
You know, listening to Danzig or like VNV Nation or some of the like kind of like dark goth club stuff. So whenever I think sex music, I think goth club.
Yeah. That's what you think of.
So that's my starting point, at least.
Like metal makes me feel sexy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to actually fuck to it though. It's like it makes me feel sexy and powerful.
So maybe you listen to metal while you're getting ready.
Yes.
For pre-sex.
Yeah.
And then we like put on some Depeche Mode when we're fucking.
Right. It's what I dance to at a strip club. I'll be honest, I don't fuck. I mean, it's like, I guess like the past 1,000,000 years I've been in the porn industry, so we're never fucking to music, because on set you can't have music. So I think, but I do remember back in the day, I used to really love having sex to that band, Portishead.
Okay. Yeah, that's good fucking music.
No, and Pulp, This Is Hardcore.
Ooh,
I used to, that's such a great I think that is one of the sexiest albums like ever. Pulp used to be like one of my favorite bands. I should re-listen to them. That is a very sexy album.
I'm gonna have to agree with that because
I feel like the album feels like sex. Like it goes it goes through like moods.
It's a sexy album,
and there's like orgasm parts, and then it like ends like really like and that was back in the day. Mm-hmm. In our time there were albums.
They still sort of exist.
I know, but I feel like now things are written just as like hit songs. But like, remember, you would buy an album and you would listen to the whole album together. So I felt like whatever song was after a song, like really, they all like went together in this like symphonic thing. And I feel like that's not a thing anymore.
Well, now I think that's just a playlist,
Right, but most people don't do that chronologically. Most people put on shuffle. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I guess I can't remember the last time I actually listened to an album from start to end in the order. You know what I mean? Because if I put on like,
no, I don't. I don't put an album on and hit shuffle. I just hit play, or I just pick the song.
I'm a shuffler, and I also am like, what's the button you push where like stuff will come in that's like, oh, if you like this, it'll recommend this. What?
Oh,
there's a button.
like if you
the
like,
little button,
fans
so,
also like, and then
and then it starts adding in other things, and it shuffles around. Like, I'm a shuffler.
Got it.
I'm a shuffler. Is that the wrong way to do it?
I'm a shuffler, baby.
Yeah.
I just want you to know. Okay, what else do we got? What's going on, Joanna?
What's going on?
After all of this really hard hitting conversation,
we talked about the callers. We really like.
No, yeah, I know. Where are we going from here?
Where are we going from here?
See, this is why sometimes I don't like doing shows this early because I feel like I'm foggy.
I actually like it.
I know,
we're doing a show in the morning today. We usually do them in the evening.
We don't do them in the morning.
We do them in the morning.
So you're getting morning Aaron and Joanna right now. It's a special different slice of us.
I'm like into it. We don't have a guest today, so I feel like I don't even know. I thought of just explaining something or talking about something for a solid like 7 minutes and just get it out of the way or something. It seems like every time we say, does anyone have questions for us? I feel like every single time somebody wants to ask, how do you have a relationship and be in the porn industry? How does it make any sense? And I feel like no matter how many times I answer it, it's like not the answer that people want to hear, or maybe it's not the answer that really is an answer. So I kind of just want to talk about it for like 5 minutes and maybe just try to address it.
Let it out.
Because sometimes it's not that simple of an answer, but also everybody's relationship is different.
It's kind of a big, broad question.
Yeah.
That could be answered in like 100 different ways.
Yeah.
And
it's like no relationship. Like, how do you have a relationship? There's really no one word or one sentence or even one paragraph answer.
I think it's mostly because to some people, our existence and our life and lifestyle is so much just different than what they've ever experienced, than what they've come across, that it's just genuinely like fascinating to them how it works, the nuts and bolts of it. Like how do you guys exist, fucking other people, still being married, still having love and respect,
or and then we always have to readdress, like, we're not really in an open relationship, which most people
that's
can't
another
wrap their
thing
brain
is
around.
some people in porn are in an open relationship.
Some people are
poly.
Most people aren't. I find that's rare. That is rare. Most of the couples I think of are not.
Well, we know a lot of different people in the porn world,
right?
And I would not agree with that. I wouldn't say most. I would say there's a lot of people who are monogamous. A lot of people I know are poly. A lot of people I know are
If both people are in the industry, though. Mm-hmm. I guess I can't really think off the top.
So
of my head.
it's a big, beautiful spectrum. So what do you want to get off your chest?
Okay, so first of all, there's many different ways to be in the porn industry now. Like, there used to really only be one way to be in the porn industry, and that was you work for a lot of studios, or you work for a studio or whatever it is, and that was sort of the traditional, old way of doing porn. Now with OnlyFans, it is actually I think much easier for people to be in a relationship.
Let's focus it on us and how, the question is, how do you guys have a relationship?
Us, and then even just me, because I've been through multiple different,
right. So how do you,
things.
Joanna, have a relationship and do this job?
So here's what I would say to anyone, and I think this actually goes for starting any career. I think if it's your first year or two in the industry, you just shouldn't be in a relationship at all, because there is no really easy way to have a relationship. But I would say that if you were starting anything, if it was your first year, going on tour as a band, is that a great time to start a new relationship? If your first year at any career that you're diving, head first into, I don't think is a good time to be in a relationship for anyone. I don't think your first year of college is a good year to find a new relationship, because you're going to change a lot, as a person. You're going to go through a lot, and and I don't think it's wise to date someone in the industry in that first year or two, and I don't think it's wise to date someone out of the industry in that first year or two. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there because it seems like a lot of newer people in the industry. Is that how you were
when you started? You were single?
I was. I guess the good thing is I was in a relationship, and that person broke up with me shortly after.
And then you were single for a while.
And then I was single. Right. Yeah. And I looking back on it now, should have stayed single for longer,
Right. I think part of it is, especially in entertainment, you're an actor, musician, DJ, artist, writer, porn star, athlete. When you're just starting out, you kind of have to throw 1,000% of everything into this goal in order to kind of make it happen. And 1,000% into this one thing means there's not anything left over usually, or a very little left over for
someone else.
For someone else. And that's there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're honest about it and just say, this is my focus right now. And then,
and you're going to be having tons of sex and getting tons of attention. Right. So why would you need a relationship anyway? So I'm just going to say my advice for newer people out there, if this is a new world to you and you're throwing yourself in it, just don't worry, you're going to have your pick of the litter of boyfriends, husbands, girlfriends, whatever you want later on. Just like take a few years and just like focus on your career and just throw all your love and your energy and your horniness into your scenes. And don't give it to anyone else. Don't give it to no man.
Okay.
For free.
So now, but now you're in the career, and now you're in the career,
and you know what you will most likely do at some point is date someone else in the industry, which could be a really good and also really bad idea, and that is what I did, because I did start to, like, after a few years on my own, then I started to kind of date other people who, and of course, no one could understand it or handle it, and this is way before OnlyFans. I feel like now it's like a different situation to date an OnlyFans girl. But like, it just, you know, nobody can handle it back then, you know, I was whatever. Yeah. And then I, you know, dated someone in the industry, which look, that situation only works if it works forever. And most things don't last forever, especially when you're in your 20s. You know, and what does wind up happening a lot, and I don't really know why, and it's pretty fucked up. Like, a lot of girls wind up dating guys in the industry, and they're both like full-time performers, and that's how they met. And then somehow, and I'm going to admit, I don't really ever tell people this because it was embarrassing, but I wound up doing it too. And I hate even talking about it because it was such a cringe time in my life and I should have never agreed to it. But like, a lot of women wind up agreeing to only working with their boyfriend while their boyfriend is working with everyone. Yeah. There's a few scenarios like this. I even did it. I did it for like a year.
Not with me.
Not with you. Not with you. I did it for like a year and a half. And if I would do anything to like take that time back. Like, it was the dumbest decision I ever made. I knew as I was doing it, it was a dumb decision. I just can't even get into why I did it.
So maybe a point there might be, don't sacrifice your career and make concessions for your career for the partner. You should be able to do fully whatever you do or don't want to do.
And I will say, any girl that I know that wound up making sacrifices for a relationship, the relationship never winds up working out. Because I feel like if they have a problem with it, they're going to have a problem with the porn you did in the past, you know? And that is something that you have to face. Like, you know, once you do enter the porn industry, like, even if you leave the porn industry, like, you know, that footage does live forever, and that is something you should think about before you do a porn, or any kind of sex work or whatever. That's why I tell people who like are curious but not really sure what they want to do with it is like, go work at a strip club, or even do some, you know, like dominatrix work or like legal escorting work or something. So, because that doesn't like live forever, you know, if you're just like kind of have this, like, you want to try it, like, anyway. I'm veering off topic.
Back to the question, which is, how do you have a relationship?
How do you have a relationship? Okay, so when I met you, and then I had also dated after my industry relationship was over, and then I wound up dating outside the industry, and I said to a few different guys that I was dating, like, yeah, it's totally cool if you fuck whoever you want, as long as you, quote, let me do my job, which is like a fucked up, you know, premise, to say. And a lot of this, with the whole like Lena and like Adam situation, like some of the stuff I was seeing people say was actually like a little bit like triggering, you know, the way people were responding to it. But we don't have to get into that, because people were just like, no man should allow this, which is insane.
The word allow is crazy. It's
cringe too.
It's crazy to me because, like,
are we
allow or like let you, like, those words to me imply like ownership,
right?
And like, for example, with the context of me and you, I don't own you.
You even if I own you.
You know, even if I wanted to.
Where's your collar?
But I
have a lock.
So the
I'm joking. I don't own you.
So the idea of like, oh, I allow Joanna to go do porn. No, she does whatever she wants, and I'm happy to exist with you within that context.
Exactly. And so, yeah, and I want to just say this to the girls in the industry that are listening to this. Like, there is something, as time goes on, the world makes us feel like we don't deserve love. You know, so there is this thing where it's like, if you just let me do porn, you can do whatever you want, and I'll pay for everything, and you can cheat on me, and you can do this and you can do that, you know, because it's almost like I feel like something sometimes gets in our heads, like we're not worthy of love. So like if somebody comes along that's willing to like deal with us, we should just let them walk all over us. I mean, that sounds kind of dark. And I see a lot of people do it, and I did it myself, you know.
Again, not with me.
Not with you, before you. So I'm trying to tell people the steps I got to before I met you.
Right.
Okay, I had to like try and fail and try again and agree to things that I shouldn't have agreed to. I don't even like saying this because I want the world to think I'm a perfect person. So I'm trying to tell everybody the things I did wrong so they don't make the same mistakes.
Gotcha. Yeah. No,
okay.
Definitely don't.
Yeah. And it is not the same. You going to work and fucking someone is not the same as somebody fucking a person, even if they only fuck them once, even if they just have a one night stand. It's not the same. Nothing's the same. No. So I did that. And yeah, by the time I met you, I remember early on in our relationship, because I said, here's the deal. You know,
you did say that.
Here's the deal. Don't make me choose between my job and you, because I'm going to choose my job. And it was heartbreaking for me to say that. I was petrified. I was scared, you know, because I knew I had to say it.
You put it to me very directly.
Yeah, and I remember I was crying even as I said it. I like to think back on the story and think I said it with like, hey, here's the deal. And I was super confident about it. But I do remember I was shaking and I wasn't comfortable saying it, but I said it, you know, because I knew it had to be said. And we started to get serious.
I was just like, well, of course, like I wouldn't ever do that. And but I got it.
Yeah. Noted. It was like, don't make me choose between, and I'm like, and with that said, you can't fuck anyone. And I'm going to go to work. Yep. But with that said, you're going to have like the coolest, most amazing, awesome girlfriend in the history of the world. Right? And I want all the women to know out there, like, we are amazing. We are amazing. And like, it is a privilege to date us and be with us. And like, your partner is going to is going to lead a very exciting life to be with you. So and
doing porn or sex work does not mean you are not, it doesn't exclude you. You're still worthy of love. You're still worthy of respect.
Right.
You're still worthy of a relationship that's not, misogynistic or overly controlling, and you're also worthy of going to work and doing a great job and enjoying your work. So I think a lot of these issues can be avoided if you just see early on the sort of red flags or whatever, and just steer away from anyone who's not in line with that vision.
Yeah. And don't agree to things that you're not going to be okay with. Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with you. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you must be like, what do you do so you're not jealous? It's like, there's no, like, if you get jealous, like, that's a natural feeling and you shouldn't ignore that feeling. And like, you should.
But if you know yourself and you're aware that maybe you're a more jealous person than some others.
So I didn't even really answer the question, but I wanted to like explain all those things.
Just the
because
tips
by the time we never really answer anything, because I have really bad ADD and like I didn't take my Adderall yet. Also if you are a girl and you are one of those girls that ever since you were a kid, you dream of this, the white picket fence and and look, you can have that in the industry, but it might be a little harder to get there. So like, there's whatever. Anyway.
Or if you're a guy out there and, you're dating a porn star, a female porn star, you should be like proud of that. You should think that is fucking
you should
cool.
think that's fucking
and
badass.
Like you have like a hot, horny, very good at sex, awesome unicorn partner who's a fucking rock star. That should not be it, and that should just be it. Like, look at my rock star partner, go, go, go.
Yes, exactly. So after all that, with that said,
With that said,
so I'm going to say in our earlier relationship, in addition to me saying like, you have to
you
deal with it, but this was before you were in the industry.
Right.
I want to remind everyone, those who don't know, when me and Aaron first started dating, he was not in the industry because I sex trafficked him into the industry.
I was just
joking.
I was just a guy in a band who at the moment wasn't I was an aspiring musician, and I was bartending, and I was your boyfriend. And then after a couple years of dating, I kind of you got me into the family business.
I wound up in there. But during that time, I said, look, on the days when I'm at work, I'm at work. Like being on set is not like being at an office. And like, I do have to like throw myself into the scene, so.
I think to summarize this, you very clearly and confidently laid out the boundaries and
yes.
and sort of this is how this relationship will work.
Yeah.
And you gave me the option to get on board or not. And there was not like a big negotiation even. It was like, this is how it works, bro. Are you down?
Yeah.
And I was like, yep.
Like I am fully capable of doing X, Y, and Z and loving you very much.
Mm-hmm. And that was actually good for me because it made it really clear.
Yes.
It was like I thought about it for a minute. I said, yeah, I think this is cool. Like, let's go.
And I assured you, I'm like, I don't fuck these guys, off camera, but when I'm on set, like that's it, and these people also are friends of mine. These are people I've known for a while. Mm-hmm. They're going to be, in my life, and that's just how it's going to be. But I don't know if I could have said that. I didn't have the ability to say that until when I met you. I was also at a certain point in my career where I very much knew what my day-to-day was. And I was also able to know, like, okay, I can work these days. I'm not going to work these days. I can devote this time to you. I can't devote this time to you. I knew what my schedule was, and I knew what a day at work entailed. Mm-hmm. And that takes some time in your career before you get there. So I wouldn't even recommend somebody getting into a relationship until you get to that point in your career. And that could take 6 months. That could take 6 years, but you'll know when you get there.
Yeah.
So how do we make, and so then when you got in the industry, kind of like the same rules that the same thing that I gave you, you gave me, and we just make it work, we just make it work. And communication and I don't know, it just is what it is,
Yeah. Brilliant.
It is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. But there's no like one specific thing to do. And I think if you do have to over talk about it too, like if we had to have like a boundary talk every week, then like this situation isn't working. That would get a little
exhausting.
We've never really had to like have talks about this because we just know.
Right off the jump, we clearly expressed what made both of us sort of comfortable and uncomfortable and what was considered crossing a line, and we agreed.
Yeah,
we agreed to it.
I think we just like had that conversation once, and like we just kind of kept going.
Yeah.
So I think there's this impression like, oh, like, boundary talks and this and that can keep happening and they can change. Like, I think if you have to go over again and again and again of like what is okay and what's not okay, like maybe you and your partner don't want the same things in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So I'd say at the end of the day, I also, when I met you, it was pretty obvious on our like first date, like I wanted a relationship and you wanted a relationship. We kind of both put that energy out there. So like we were both going into something like on the same page.
We were both looking for something real versus
something
just
ongoing.
a random, fling or whatever.
Right. I mean, I wasn't looking for a random fling because I, get those at work. I don't know. I'm not like a random fling person anyway. I'm like, I just want to like marry everybody I go on one date with. That's probably.
Well, glad I was the one. Okay, let's keep it pushing here. Let's keep it pushing here.
Did that answer your question? No, it didn't answer the question at all. But it was like a history of my dating in the industry. If you want to
submit more questions that we will give wildly,
we'll give 40-minute non-answers to.
Then email us at justthetipsxo@gmail.com, or you can drop us a DM on the Instagram or Twitter. Do we have a dick, Brian?
Yeah. So we do have a dick.
But
yeah.
we also have questions from fans. If you wanted to
okay.
do that.
Let's not answer some more questions from fans.
Yeah.
What do
Any
we got?
questions we can give non-answers to?
All right, so first question here is from Ashley, and she wants to know, if you had to run a festival, what 3 bands would you choose to headline it and why?
Oh my God, what a great question. Thank you, Ashley.
She says, P.S. really enjoying Soft Faith.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, that's really sweet.
To everyone out there, if you have been living under a rock, I have a band called Soft Faith that I sing in, and you should all go look it up and listen to it. And we're dropping a new single September 22nd, Soft Faith. Look it up on Spotify.
Yep.
Festival.
3
bands.
Okay, 3 bands. Why don't you go first? Fuck, this is a hard question, man.
She said bands, so I'm going to exclude like
DJs,
singers,
or
rappers, pop stars. This is a band. I'm just going to go with 3 bands. And I'm going to say, if I had to really pick, and this is, this is of any era, we'll say. So I'm going to pick.
Any band, dead or alive, I think can play your festival, right?
At the Aaron Fest with 3 bands, my dream would be The Clash, Depeche Mode, and honestly, probably the third would be a tie, and it would either be the Rolling Stones or Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I would definitely go to that festival.
That's my 3-band big time festival.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's a good festival. Okay. So I think I'm going to think back to all the best live bands I've ever seen. And then I think I'd want to see those 3 bands again, so I'm going to think back to bands I've actually seen live. God, we've been to so many concerts, even just this year.
I've seen all of the bands I listed
live. What did I see recently? Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to say, all right, so you know what? I'm going to put them on the bill. I'm going to put them on the bill because I saw them recently, and I have to say it was one of the best concerts I ever went to in my life. I'm going to say Aqua. They sing the Barbie Girl song. Oh. I saw them live last month, and it was like not one person in that room wasn't smiling. It was the happiest room of people I've ever been in my life, and it was one of the most fun times I've ever had at a live show. Do I listen to Aqua every day? No, but seeing a band live is is whatever.
Okay, so we got Aqua.
We got Aqua. I was going to say Depeche Mode because we also saw them live, and I think it was one of the best live shows. But since you already put them on your festival, we don't need them. We don't need them on 2 festivals. Then I'm going to say another one of the best bands I've ever seen live, and I saw them fucking play in a basement when I was 20 years ago. And I've seen them play in stadiums, and that's pretty cool. Is Refused.
Hell, I think Refused
one of the greatest. Is one of the greatest live bands. One of the greatest bands of all time, I think. But definitely one of the. I saw them play in a basement when I was 17, 18 in New Brunswick, New Jersey. The home of punk rock.
That's a good pick.
What?
That's a good choice.
Refused. Yeah. And I remember there was not a lot of people in that basement, and it was a life-changing moment. I've been a different person since then, and I've seen them play in a stadium, and it's been maybe not a festival.
Yeah, big festival.
Big festival.
Was that 3 or was that 2? That was 2.
No, that was 2. So what I'm saying, this is a great show. So we have Aqua
and Refused.
Aqua and Refused.
Yeah, no, we are.
Oh God, can I have more than 3 bands at the festival?
No, the question was 3. Keep it to 3.
Okay,
I did a 3-way tie for my third, or a 2-way tie.
I think the most fun I ever had at a concert was when we saw the Misfits.
That's a fun band.
I think they belong on the festival.
Yeah.
But the OG Misfits,
classic lineup.
Yeah, classic lineup,
Okay, so we got Aqua, Refused, and the Misfits.
Yeah, what a fun show.
That's a great festival.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
If there was a second stage, My Chemical Romance.
Keep it at 3.
Rancid.
All right.
Ghost.
So,
I love seeing Ghost. It's a really great show. Something happened with. Oh yeah, there was like a. Can we throw a comedian on the show? Maybe like can Ali Wong like do like stand up in between bands? That would be like a dream.
You're veering wildly off course. We already answered the question. Is there another one, Brian?
That was a good question, and I'm still going to be answering it for the next week. I'm going to just keep changing my answer. I'm just going to.
We do have another question from Rachel, and she says,
Blink-182. How did I forget about that? That was such a fun
What part of 3
they're going to go on
do
the
you
second
not
stage. They're going to go on the second stage. Blink-182 is on the other stage. All right.
oh, all right.
Continue, Brian.
Okay, so we have a question from Rachel, and she says her and her boyfriend tried swinging for the first time last night. It was so much fun, and she's wondering, is there any way she could be more comfortable taking a bigger dick? She couldn't take much of it, especially since the second guy was quite large.
Oh, wow.
Any advice?
Oh, what a fun night. I'm so
sounds,
happy
yeah,
for
sounds
you.
awesome. Joanna, you'd probably be best to non-answer this one.
Okay, first of all, try different positions because there's some positions that just the dick won't. Like everybody's body is different. I'd say to try mish because you can kind of get more in. But other girls are different. I know other girls with doggy, they can squeeze in. Figure out whatever position is most comfortable for you to do first. But I really think the best advice for that is to put it in your ass. Because anything can fit in your ass if you put your mind to it. That's what I do if a dick is too big. I mean, dread, and I think I got girth master in my vagina. But dread, I cannot fit in my vagina. We try, it doesn't work, and I'm like, just fuck it, let's go in my ass. And he really likes my ass, so it works out well,
Also, the human anus is a little elastic, and a vagina is pretty much the entry.
Also,
is the entry.
I don't like saying this out loud, because I don't ever poop and I never have in my life. But your asshole stretches every
That's
day.
That's what I just said. It's
it stretches every day when you take poops.
Right, right.
And your vagina's not doing that. So it's almost already used to opening.
So if the dick's too big,
that's what I've heard.
Position
Other
will
people who poop are probably
stick it in your ass.
Yeah, stick it in your ass. That's honestly my advice.
We actually answered. That was an answer.
That was an answer. Wait, so what's your advice? You've probably had sex with plenty of girls where it's not.
My dick is not that huge.
No, but it's
a good sized dick. It's a good sized dick,
right.
But it's not monstrously,
I understand.
terrifyingly big. But sometimes if the position thing usually will help.
Yeah,
if
change
there's a position
positions.
where it is too much, let's flip into something else and see how that goes.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself. But I'm really happy for you that you got to go to a party and take a big cock. Good for you. You
good girl.
That's fucking awesome. And I'm really happy for you. And you deserve it. High five.
You deserve the one. Dicks.
Speaking of dicks, let's look at a small dick.
This is a small one?
Yeah, it's small.
Okay.
We've got a small dick.
Are we doing this, or are we having a friend do this?
Well, yeah. It's gross. This is a gross dick.
It's
a gross small dick.
It's not.
It's very hairy and just awful.
Well, hold on. It's not that gross, actually. It's small.
It's small.
It's small.
Okay.
It looks fine.
Okay, honestly, the worst part is the hair. Then,
yeah,
right?
there's the pube city is not the move. Might want to dial that back. But the dick is actually pleasant to look at.
Right.
It's just small.
Right.
It's just
it's small.
If he got many more inches added onto that, it would be totally cool. Just trim up the pube city situation.
It's not a terrible dick.
Also, it's well lit. It looks like a clean room.
You're giving this guy a lot of credit,
well,
and it's true. You're right.
In order for us to keep doing this dick rating bit, I have to be authentic and honest with myself and with the photo.
It's because I had a giant dick in my head, because the girl said that a dick was too big, and then we looked at a small dick, and I was being mean, right. But the dick, you're right. Okay. It is okay. It's nice looking. It's just he has to the grooming is out of control.
Yeah.
Well,
but the
friend
dick.
of the show, Josh Adam Meyers.
Yes.
has an opinion.
And
Drop
his
the
name
track, DJ
Also, the
Brian.
guy's name that we're rating today, his name is Noah. So I told Josh that, thinking it would help inspire the song. I don't know.
Noah's got an itsy bitsy penis. It's the tiniest I've ever seen. His head is bigger than the shaft, and his pubic hairs are unkept.
There you go. There
short,
you go.
Short, sweet, and to the
Short
point.
and sweet, a nice little jingle. Everybody go check out Josh on tour with Jelly Roll, where our good friend Bunny is also on that tour.
Yeah, the whole
I believe
squad.
I wanted to go to one of the shows, but it hasn't been in New York. It was only in Atlantic City, I believe. And that's very far from here and not in New York. And I don't know. And I think I wasn't home when it was happening anyway. But everybody go check it out. Go check out Josh on tour with Jelly Roll and Bunny. And I guess you can also go back. Bunny has a very popular podcast. She's actually the woman that inspired me to have a podcast because I went on her podcast. And I was like, wow, Bunny is so awesome. I should have a podcast. Maybe I'll be like her when I grow up. Me and Aaron were guests on Bunny's podcast. It's called Dumb Blonde. You should check it out.
Hell yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot of things.
so-
I'm not good at my job, so I don't actually know how to
Yo,
say.
this is what you get with early morning just the tips. You know,
Yeah.
this is that early morning vibe.
Yeah. Should we do a haiku?
Let's do a haiku.
Yeah.
Let's do a haiku. For those of you who are uninitiated, loosely, a haiku is a 5-syllable, 7-syllable, 5-syllable poem. It's 3 lines. You want to start?
Yeah, let's start. God, all that's in my brain is dick right now.
You work with what we got, you know?
Okay. The swingers party is just like in my brain. Swinging, yeah. Party. Big cock must fit. Okay. Your big cock must fit.
Your big cock. Okay.
Okay.
Your big cock must fit.
Your big cock will fit. I'm manifesting her taking bigger cocks.
so-
Your big cock will fit.
Okay.
I'm here in your corner.
Okay. Keys, collars, and dungeons, yes.
You say yes a lot in your haikus.
What?
Yeah, it's like you just, when you need another syllable, you just add yes. I think it's lazy.
Hold, please. Keys, collars, and dungeons, fuck.
All right.
See, that's even worse, but
Yeah,
now it's
it
not
is
yes.
worse. Yeah, no, it's not yes. Oh, well, okay, why don't I put yes first? Yes.
Yes, keys, collars, and dungeons. Okay, fine,
yes.
fine.
Keys,
yes,
collars.
keys, collars, and dungeons. Brian, take us home.
Airplane ride of shame.
Airplane ride of shame, baby. So
Honestly, Brian is so good at
you are the best for
it.
these
Really is
haikus.
like,
You really like
because I'm so bad at it.
you really save our haikus every episode, Brian.
Yeah.
So we have that big dick will fit. Yes, keys, collars, and dungeons. Airplane ride of shame.
I think it's really beautiful. I
Cool.
think, yeah,
Well, this was probably the greatest episode that we've ever taped.
definitely.
where
We
can we-
gave, yeah,
We really gave it our all.
we really gave it everything.
And you know,
it's nice catching up with you.
we promise to always authentically be this unfocused and fun.
Yeah, I promise nothing else.
And fuck it.
Yeah.
You can find me onlyfans.com/smallhands, on Instagram and Twitter at @thesmallhands_. Listen to my band Soft Faith. Joanna.
Onlyfans.com/Joanna Angel. My name is Joanna Angel. My Instagram is Joanna Angel. My Twitter is Joanna Angel. My TikTok is Joanna Angel X. Please do not follow a fake account. I am not stuck in another country and need money. I'm not having.
No, we're here.
Yeah,
We're here
I'm
in
not
New York.
messaging you from a private account that I use to talk to my special fans. Don't talk to a fake Joanna. Just talk to me because I'm very easy to talk to.
And if you want your dick rated, you can send it to Joanna's OnlyFans.
You guys send a dick
And,
to my OnlyFans
you
with
know,
a tip.
We'll give you some authentic.
Just a tip.
Oh, that was good, Joanna.
and we can humiliate you on the radio.
Yeah, or just give you some honest feedback.
Or just give you some honest feedback, yeah.
Okay, well, this has been...
Send us your questions.
Yeah, send us your questions.
justthetipsxo@gmail.com.
Send us
we won't answer them correctly.
We'll sort of answer.
We'll use your question to talk about something else. We're going to use you.
Oh, boy. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Woo!